Yo, what it is, YouTube? It's your boy DC coming back with another bullseye of a video here today on the channel. I want to show you how you can get pro masters by using just this one plugin right here. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more video ideas down below. I'm gonna be giving out the preset that I'm gonna be cooking up here today and talking about this great plugin. Let's get to listening to the track. Don't forget to join the channel membership as well for more exclusive content.
You gon' fall in love with me tonight. You gon' call me. If I don't get a text, something ain't right. Girl with a pretty face, I get I'm a gold max. More than I can explain in a short time. Didn't need a
Really dope track that we got right here. Shout out to the artist Justin Bloom. Okay, so look, this is the plugin called Master Plan. It reminds me of an evil villain. It reminds me, not even of an evil villain. It reminds me of Batman, Bruce Wayne sitting inside the Batcave with all the modules and you feel me, the Batmobile, you know, all that shit like that. He had all the little tricks and stuff. That's what this plugin is like to me though. You feel me? Just because of the way it gives so much versatility, you know. So I'm gonna show you guys how I was able to replace my mastering chain with this plugin. Although when I use this plugin, I might use certain modules in it, but I just wanted to show how I like to use it. Okay, so very first thing with this plugin, you have the thick. It's kind of like a transformer saturation, something I always talk about, using the saturation to get that thickness, to put the BBL on the vocal, to stuff the pillow, to give the whole track some weight.
You gon' fall in love with me tonight. You gon' call me. If I don't get a text, something ain't right. Girl with a pretty face, I get I'm a gold max. More than I can explain in a short time. Didn't need a grapevine to hear you sounding like me. In another shout out when I put on D&D. And it's you back, you know nothing.
Now it kind of looks like the vocals got a bubble gut. You feel me? Now it's got a gut to it. It reminds me of, you know, like bubble gum. You're chewing the bubble gum and the thickness is like, you know, how big do you want the bubble to be? There is a certain point where if you put too much thickness, your whole song is gonna pop though, where it's like too much low end, it sounds muddy, it doesn't sound musical. So I like to use the thick knob. Okay, so before I was using the thick knob, I would use like the Fairchild and the EQP1A and I wouldn't even touch it, but I just love the way the tube saturation gave me thickness.
You gon' fall in love with me tonight. You gon' call me. If I don't get a text, something ain't right. Girl with a pretty face, I get I'm a gold max. More than I can explain in a short time. Didn't need a grapevine to hear you sounding like me. In another shot.
So pretty much the same sound. I know the EQP1A also, you know, adds a little bit of volume too, so yeah, it pretty much sounds the same though, right? So I've been able to like replace it sometimes, you know. And after that you have the wide mode. A lot of times with the wide, to get more width in the track, I'd use something like the BX EQ. I take out a little bit of low end, and this kind of low mid. This brings me to the next module too, which is the width. Okay, so I use this to make my mixes wider, and I also usually use a little bit of clean. I don't use too much, maybe like a half a point or a point of it. It sounds like, you know, using soothe and, you know, kind of demudding the mix, almost similarly to a move that I would do right here, you know, on my Brainworks, you know.
You gon' fall in love with me tonight. You gon' call me. If I don't get a text, something ain't right. Girl with a pretty face, I get I'm a gold max.
So the mix sounds a little bit more like, you know, the first day of school. You know, the doors are open. By taking a little bit of that low mid, the doors are open. It's a little bit more inviting, and the doors are, you know, wide open. So yeah, it's a little bit more width. Okay, so you feel like there's a little bit more space, a little bit more pocket for the artist. You know what I mean? So those are the two things.
You gon' fall in love with me tonight. You gon' call me. If I don't get a text, something ain't right. Girl with a pretty face, I get I'm a gold max. More than I can explain in a short time. Didn't need a grapevine to hear you sounding like me. In another shout out when I put on D&D. And it's you back, you know nothing else in between. It's too much for me.
Cool. You usually have like the multi-band, which is, you know, if I was to use the God particle, which, you know, sometimes I do, you know, I would substitute that out. I put the God particle a lot of times on my Master Fader. This song I didn't do it because it didn't need the extra hype, but that would be another way, you know, you would also use it too, type of situation. So then you have something like the calm, and I like the calm a lot because it reminds me of when I was using the soothe on my master track a lot of the times, bruh, you know, to, you know, reduce harshness in the high end, you feel me, if there was any.
You gon' fall in love with me tonight. You gon' call me. If I don't get a text, something ain't right. Girl with a pretty face, I get I'm a gold max. More than I can explain in a short time. Didn't need a grapevine
This song has a lot of high frequencies, like the reverb is bright, the drums are, it's like crispy and everything like that. So that's why the soothe worked great here. But the master plan is also great when you use a little bit of this calm mode.
You gon' fall in love with me tonight. You gon' call me. If I don't get a text, something ain't right. Girl with a pretty face, I get I'ma grow, man. It's more than I can explain in a short time. They didn't need a grapevine to hear you sounding like me. Need another shout out when I put on D&D. And it's you, babe. You know nothing else get in between. It's too much for me to scheme, babe. I know that I'm real, this ain't no sound. You can only find on desktop, yeah. I'm making the room bounce. I'm not even rolling up. It's just ain't a flex, I don't wanna call.
It really does a great job of deharshing the mix. And the last thing you have is the clipper limiter. Usually I use the Pro L. I don't put anything on it. But I just love the way this thing right here gives me, you know, also the metering right here. I can see how much loves.
You gon' fall in love with me tonight. You gon' call me. If I don't get a text, something ain't right. Girl with a pretty face, I get I'ma grow, man. It's more than I can explain in a short time. They didn't need a grapevine to hear you sounding like me. Need another shout out when I put on D&D. And it's you, babe. You know nothing else get in between. It's too much for me to scheme, babe. I know that I'm real, this ain't no sound. You can only find on desktop, yeah. I'm making the room bounce. I'm not even rolling up. It's just ain't a flex.
So usually like -10, -9 is usually good enough. All right, so let me show you a couple ways that I like to use that same plugin on vocals though. Because for example, you have a song right here that's like super bright and shit like that, right? Sometimes you need to add a little bit of weight to the vocals. I use the thick mode.
You gon' fall in love with me tonight. You gon' call me. If I don't get a text, something ain't right. Girl with a pretty face, I get I'ma grow, man. It's more than I can explain in a short time. They didn't need a grapevine to hear you sounding like me. Need another shout out when I put on D&D. And it's you, babe. You know nothing else get in between. It's too much for me to scheme, babe. I know that I'm real, this ain't no sound. You can only find on desktop, yeah. I'm making the room bounce. I'm not even rolling up. It's just ain't a flex, I don't wanna call on more.
So that would be like a great way right there. So let's save this preset because we're gonna be giving it out for free and all that stuff. Let me see that. Never mind. Yeah, but let's not even worry about that. I'll give it out for free down below. But that's the way I like to use it to make it thicker. Now let's say, also we have you know, a situation too where like I want to deharsh my effects because as you can see, it's like a lot of extended high end on this 8th note. It's a good amount of like this high end is kind of starting to build up and clash with the vocal. I would use a soothe to cut that stuff out sometimes. Sometimes what you can do is you can take that master plan plugin and what you're gonna do is you're gonna go ahead and go to the clean mode, or no, you're gonna go to the calm mode.
You gon' fall in love with me tonight. You gon' call me. If I don't get a text, something ain't right. Girl with a pretty face, I get I'ma grow, man. It's more than I can explain in a short time. They didn't need a grapevine to hear you sounding like me. Need another shout out when I put on D&D. And it's you, babe. You know nothing else get in between. It's too much for me to scheme. You gon' fall in love with me tonight. You gon' call me. If I don't get a text, something ain't right. Girl with a pretty face, I get I'ma grow, man. It's more than I can explain in a short time. They didn't need a grapevine to hear you sounding like me. Need another shout out when I put on D&D. And it's you, babe. You know nothing.
That's how I got my vocals sounding crispy because I have this like light reverb that I'm throwing a soothe on it to the all effects, you know, and it helps the vocal get more clarity.
You gon' fall in love with me tonight. You gon' call me. If I don't get a text, something ain't right. Girl with a pretty face, I get I'ma grow, man. It's more than I can explain in a short time. They didn't need a grapevine to hear you sounding like me. Need another shout out when I put on D&D. And it's you, babe. You know nothing else get in between. It's too much for me to scheme, babe. I know that I'm real, this ain't no sound. You can only find on desktop, yeah. I'm making the room bounce. I'm not even rolling up. It's just ain't a flex.
The tape is also great too. I hardly ever use it though. Like I never really use the tape like that, but It is definitely great. It is definitely warm. It definitely is cool. So this is pretty much the end of the video here today for you. I just want to say thanks a lot for being a great part of my YouTube family. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe down below. Also support the channel, join the YouTube membership, and check the links down below to grab a course, grab a preset. And if you want to grab that master plan preset, let me know down below. I'll drop the link. Appreciate y'all now. Peace.